Hi everyone. In this video series, I am going to continue this discussion on geometry ribbon. And on the geometry ribbon here, I have covered up to query tool. Now here, I will start discussing the move tool here, that how it is working. So by clicking on move, you can already select it here in the edit component in this region, as well as you can select it directly here. I will prefer directly selecting it here, and although you can uh, access some other options that are available here instead of these points here. So if I go to move command here, and we have these components of reverse up to reverse, and then um, set, etc., points, etc., these are given here. So let's go to the move command here. When you select the move command here, look at the terminal. In the terminal window, we can see here that what is going on in this model. A command is selected and it's asking us for selection of a geometry here. So if I select this geometry, and I told you when it becomes selected, it converted to red here. So I have to press enter, and when I press enter, it will ask me for from which location I want to move it here. So let's say I select it from this region to this region. So I can move it to any region I want. It's based on my experience, but sorry, it's based on the user choice. But the thing is, if you are trying to model any kind of geometry, um, as per the finite element analysis procedures, the most preferable procedure is by selection through coordinates here. So you can input the command here for the input file, that where you want to move it. You can directly uh, move it from one region to another region. So let's first start with try with this one by directly selection here. So I can see here that it is selected. The next is, let me just look at here, it is done. Let's just look at the second move option. It is by selection of geometry and then moving it from this region, for example from this point to the origin. So 0, 0, 0, and press enter. So now it's moved to the origin here. So if I go to the query tool here, and I go to the select free edges, sorry, and select here, and then I go to the properties and um, query center of mass and all these options, right? And query length, length is for edge, it will work for the area only. So the geometry ID is 1 here, the face ID is 4, and its area is given here. And right, let's go to query the vertex. So if I select on this region and query length, I can get the length as well. So the geometry ID is 1, the edge ID is 15, and it is its length that we can work with it, right? So this how we are trying to achieve the results with visualization modules inside these command windows to see what's going on in this model. Um, Another thing that is very important here to consider is, if you are working with these environments, sometime we try to get the results accurately by making the geometry more reliable. So in that case, a strong command on these options is very necessary in your finite element analysis model, because this is just a simple way of demonstration. But when you are working with a experimental work that is done in the laboratory, and you are trying to achieve the results by capturing the response of the model, then you have to be very careful about these minor details in your modeling environment. So this move command is done. Now let's switch to the copy command here. And when I select the copy, I am again asked for the selection of the geometry because the command is activated. So when I select the geometry, it will turn to red, and I explain these here in these details in the beginning as well. What is the role of these options here? If you haven't watched the role of this region, you should go to the previous videos to properly look into the role of these options that I explained here. So now when I select the geometry, I will press enter, right? So when I press enter, I can select from which region I am going to copy it here. So either I select any point here or with respect to a reference point here. So if you are going to work on an array options, then this option is very best here. So for the next option to command, I'm not repeating this here, but let's go with this option, right? First by move copying it with the GUI command here, right? I can do whatever I want with it. This then escape it, and I want to select this one again and specify the point to move it with respect to point. So let's make it 000 the origin, and we can see here that this is done here. So for example, you are working with a brick masonry structure and you are making a 3D structure, which I do not recommend because if the enforcement is involved, the STKO will give option, an error of the limit that you are reaching in the elements. So I do not recommend that procedure. However, you can work with that procedure as well. After copying, you can then go to then you can go to the uh, rotate here, and with rotation we can either transform, we can keep the element here. So it will gives us two options. Look at here, as soon as I click on it, it it is giving me two options. The first one is transform, in which the entity will be transformed, while the second one is the copy, in which the entity will remain same, and it will be copied to next position in rotation here. So first let's try with the transform, and look at the terminal, the command is activated, and it's asking for the selection of the geometries here. So these options are turned on, so I can quickly select the geometry and press enter. Then I will select for the rotation, I will select an axis. So as per my experience, if you want to rotate it in this YZ axis, sorry, YZ plane, and about x-axis, then you should select a line parallel to the y-axis. If you want to rotate it about y-axis, you should select a line parallel to x-axis. And if you want to rotate it with respect to z-axis, then you should select any line parallel to x or y-axis. So let's do it by rotating it with respect to x-axis. So if I select this line, then I can rotate it here. So I can write an angle as well. So let's say I select an angle of 90. So carefully give an attention to the format of using the points here. If I'm giving it three values with the space character, it means that OpenSees, STQ will understand that I am putting um, a point for it, which is unpractical procedure in most of the time. And the practice we use the angles. If I am using a single value, OpenSees as STKO will understand that I am defining an angle to it. So if I define angle by 90, and it's asking for the reference point, so the next reference point can be selected here or here, or wherever I want to use it here. So I will select this region. I'm sorry, it's stuck in the middle. It's a common error, so problem. So you can do anything with it. Sorry. Okay, it was abrupted in the process of modeling. So let's go to geometry and let's make it uh, simple point here. Sorry, 000. I Okay, so I just put these coordinates here, which doesn't make any sense because the coordinates were not accurate. So, anyways, let's just demonstrate with these videos here. Uh, First, let's just rotate it to make it more sensible, and press Enter. Then select it in this way. So and then go to the view and 3D view. So you can do whatever you want with your modeling environment. Um, so I was here at the rotate command here. So with the transform, you can select the geometry and press enter. Then you can select the lines and then press enter to uh, do it in any direction you want. I will do it in this direction. So it is rotated now. After that, if you want to copy it with respect to rotation, which is very important, but before that, okay, no problem. Let's just do it and select it here. If you want to model any kind of spatial geometry with it, you can do it and then uh, press escape to just activate it. So there are various kind of commands that you can do and you can arrange this in your modeling environment. So let's just go to geometry and let me make it more um, okay, more easier to understand. So let's say I have this geometry as a column in 3D. It's not a practical procedure. For example, I want to create a beam column join from it. So if I want to copy it here, so what I can do, I can select this. I can sorry, um, with rotate with copy. I can select this. I can select this and I can make it like this. I can. Sorry, I'm sorry. I just accidentally selected the escape instead of enter. Press enter, and, and then right or left. And after that, you can make it by making it a more easier way to do. Sorry, not with this one, but with move. And press enter, and from this point to let's say at this point and escape. Then after that, let's move this by pressing enter to this region. So kind of a tedious procedure, but I think we can work with it in this way, right? And if you want to then scale it, then you can scale it accordingly. You can rotate it, whatever you want to do with it. It's just a demonstration purpose example. Practically, then we use fiber sections, and in fibers, we do not use such kind of 3D modeling most oftenly due to limitation of the capabilities of software to obtain our analysis results. Anyways, that's been done. Let's go to the scale option now. So in scale, for example, if we want to do scaling, let's make it more simple. That in scaling, we use various options that are visible to us, and now the command is activated here. But um, explain it here. For example, if you use the uniform scale will ask for the scale factor or the coordinates in which we want to apply the scale. So it will expand the model in three direction. And if we consider scale one dimension, so it will ask for axis and it will kind of in elongation without change in the cross section. While if we select 2D, so it will be selected in two dimensional here. So let me demonstrate one by one all these. But before that, let's just delete this one to see what's going on in this model. So I will select the scale, I will select the uniform, and when I select the geometry and press enter, it will ask for the location about which we want to apply the scale, a control point here. So, right, this is for the first, this is for the second. Then we can select the scale factor or we can apply the scaling of this model. So you can see here in which direction we want to apply the scale factor. So if I want to make it double, look at the command syntax here. Either I have to apply the coordinates. So if I know the distance between these points that I'm applying, if the distance between these 2 points that I selected here is less for the point I am selecting, the scale will be reducing. If it is greater than one, then the ratio is greater than one, then it will be increasing its scale. So also we can put a distance. So for example, if I use 50 and press enter, sorry, scale factor. I'm sorry. Coordinates here, so I should select the coordinates, and for coordinates 0 0, let's say it's 200. So now it's scaled in that direction. So either we apply the distance or we apply their scale factor, we can use it in our analysis. And after the scale factor, we have an option for the mirror that is also important sometime when we are working with the geometries. We should be careful about these in our analysis procedures in the pre-processing. That is the mirror. So mirror also asks for the transform and copy command here. So it's similar to the previous way. For example, if I select the geometry and press enter, I will be asked about 2 points about which I want to apply the mirror. So if I select these 2 points, it will go to the right direction. If I select these 2 points, it will go to the front left direction. So let's select this one and it is transformed to this direction. If I want to copy, as you can see here on the copy option, then I will select this copy option, select this option and press on enter, and I will select 2 points here. For example, these two are the points. As soon as I select here, it will create two entities from it, right? So this is kind of a mirror capability in the OpenSees environment here. Then you can rename this with the any kind of nomenclature you want to use in your analysis file, right? After this, let me just delete this one and switch to the explode, compound, and all these options. So I will record these in the next video. So stay tuned to discuss this.